before I could even see where I was, I immediately felt a sharp pain shoot up my left leg. And that's when everything went black.
He slammed into me and pinned me to the ground with his antlers. I remember this red light just filling my vision.
He closed the door to the shed and told me to lay down on the ground. He put his hand under my robes.
I remember looking down. My beard was completely red. There was so much blood.
I originally came to Earth a couple thousand years ago, do some work for my dad in the Middle East, and ever since then I just haven't been able to stay away. So I'd visit from time to time, and I remember back in the 90s, I would work the Easter pageant circuit. It was low profile, decent pay, plus most of the actors I'd seen were playing me all wrong. I was doing a 2-week run in a small Colorado town. Great company. This is my 3rd year with them, and the whole cast was just so on point. Great tech crew, really solid group. I remember this particular year, the understudy for Judas had to take over because the regular actor had the flu. Now this new guy was a real hoot. I mean, just so charming and really friendly. He seemed to develop an affinity for me very quickly. He was constantly asking me to come hang out with him after rehearsals, after the show. On our closing night, the cast stuck around to help break down the set, as you do. And one by one, people left until finally it was just me and fake Judas. I gave him a hug. Thanked him for a great run, and I was about to teleport into another dimension when he asked me if I could help jumpstart his car. And I remember walking around to the front of his car and popping the hood. That's when I knew something wasn't right. The battery was fine. I mean, I'm more of a carpenter than a mechanic, but I could see inside the battery, and I'd say it had a good 2-3 years left of juice in it. I remember I turned to look for fake Judas, and that's when I felt the gun press against the back of my head. Then he got up behind me real close to my ear. I can still remember the smell of his breath. It was like he'd just eaten a poop sandwich. And he whispered, "Don't scream, or I'll kill you." I remember his voice was trembling, like he was nervous. He told me to get in the car, so I did. He was real jumpy. I kept looking around, fidgeting. We pulled out of the parking lot, and instead of driving into town, he started heading away. That's when I thought, okay, this guy wants to do something pretty bad. After about an hour, he pulled off onto this small dirt road that led into the woods. We drove another 20 minutes or so, and the sun was starting to set. The headlights of the car were just bright enough so that I could see a little shed about 20 yards off in the trees. He turned the car off but left the headlights on so we could see. And he grabbed me by the arm and kind of yanked me up and out of the car and bonked my head as I came out. It really hurt. He led me into the shed and he opened the door, and there was just this immediate smell of death and decay that just washed over me. It was like 20 lepers mixed with the bubonic plague. He pushed me inside, and there wasn't a lot of light, but I could barely make out a big shelf with a bunch of rusty tools on it. There were blood stains on the walls and the ground. It was like something out of a horror movie. And it was very apparent at this point that I wasn't the first person fake Judas had brought here. He closed the door to the shed and told me to lay down on the ground. Then he took my sandals off and he set them on a shelf next to a bunch of other pairs of shoes. I remember he was really careful about it. He kind of stared at them for a few seconds. It was like he was admiring them, like it was some kind of weird ritual with this guy. Then he turned back to me, took his own shoes off, and that's when he attempted to lie with me. He put his hands under my robes, and as soon as he started rubbing my thigh, that's when he officially crossed the line. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt when I'm judging them, but there was no denying at this point what was in fake Judas's heart. Usually I'll say a clever one-liner before I smite someone, like, feed my sheep. Conjure a flock of carnivorous sheep, they'll come in, eat the person or whatever. But it'd been a long day. I was tired, so I just snapped my fingers, erased him from existence. On my way out, I resurrected the other people who Fake Judas killed over the years, and they were all confused, just like, huh, what's going on? Where are we? Then they realized and got all weepy, started hugging each other. I'm just standing there going, hello. Anytime, guys. Took them 15 minutes to say thanks. Ridiculous. I survived because I'm immortal. My dad created the universe. I basically have superpowers. I mean, is that even a serious question? Is it not obvious? I'm not going anywhere. Eternity. Come on. Are we done?